judges, and fellow orators. Good morning. My name is Darren Burton II, and I am a dynamic second-year member of the New Jersey Orators Orange Chapter. Today I will be competing in the category of declamation. I will be reciting the eulogy of Malcolm X, which was given by Ossie Davis on February 27, 1965, at Faith Temple Church of God. As a part of my presentation, I will also give Martin Luther King Jr.'s reaction to his death. 79 years before I was born, Malcolm Little was born. Little did his parents know that he would change his name not once, but twice, and become one of the most controversial human rights activists in this country. Malcolm X was to those who liked him a courageous advocate for the rights of blacks, a man who accused white America in the harshest terms for its crimes against black Americans. Those who were against him accused him of preaching racism and violence. He has been called one of the greatest and most influential African Americans in history. On February 21, 1965, El-Haj Malik El-Shabazz, which was his name at that time, was assassinated while preparing to speak to the Organization of Afro-American Unity. I chose to do this presentation because I have been learning about Malcolm X in school and am in the process of reading his autobiography. And now with a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. I am appalled to learn of the brutal assassination of Malcolm X. This evil act must be strongly condemned by all people of goodwill. We must face the tragic fact that Malcolm X was murdered by a morally inclement climate. It reveals that our society is still sick enough to express dissent through murder. We have not learned to disagree without being violently disagreeable. This vicious assassination should cause our whole society to see that violence and hatred are two forces that must be cast into unending limbo. And now I will recite Malcolm X's eulogy. Here, at this final hour, in this quiet place, Harlem has come to bid farewell to one of its brightest hopes, extinguished now and gone from us forever. For Harlem is where he worked, where he struggled and fought, his home of homes, and where his heart was, and where his people are, and it is, therefore, most fitting that we meet once again in Harlem to share these last moments with him. For Harlem has ever been gracious to those who have loved her, who have fought her, who have defended her honor even to the death. It is not in the memory of man that this beleaguered, unfortunate, but nonetheless proud community has found a braver, more gallant young champion than this Afro-American who lies before us. Unconquered still, I say the word again as if he would want me to. Afro-American. Afro-American Malcolm, who was a master, was most meticulous in his use of words. Nobody knew better than he the power words have over minds of men. Malcolm had stopped being a Negro years ago. It had become too small, too puny, too weak a word for him. Malcolm was bigger than that. Malcolm had become an Afro-American, and he wanted so desperately that all of his people would become Afro-Americans too. There are those who will consider it their duty as friends of the Negro people to tell us to revile him, to flee even from the presence of his memory, to save ourselves by writing him out of our history of our turbulent times. Many will ask what Harlem finds to honor this stormy, controversial, and bold young captain. And we will smile. Many will say, turn away from this man, for he is not a man, but a demon, a monster, a subverter, and an enemy of the black man. and we will smile. They will say that he is of hate, a fanatic, a racist, who can only bring evil to the cause for which you struggle. And we will answer and say to them, did you ever talk to Brother Malcolm? Did you ever touch him or have him smile at you? Did you ever really listen to him? Did he ever do a mean thing? Was he ever himself associated with violence or any public disturbance? For if you did, you would know him. And if you knew him, you would know why we must honor him. Malcolm was our manhood, our living black manhood. This was his meaning to his people, and in honoring him, we honor the best of ourselves. Last year from Africa, he wrote these words to a friend. My journey, he says, has almost ended, and I have a much broader scope than which I started out, which I believe will add new life and dimension to our struggle for freedom, honor, and dignity in the States. I am writing these things so that you will know for a fact the tremendous sympathy and support we have among the African states for our human rights struggle. The main thing is that we keep a united front wherein our most valuable time and energy will not be wasted fighting each other. However, we may have differed with him or with each other about him and his value as a man. Let his going from us serve only to bring us together. Now, consigning these mortal remains to earth, the common mother of all, that secure the knowledge that what we place in the ground is no longer a man, but a seed, which after the winter of our discontent will come back forth to meet us again. And we will know him for what he was and is, a prince, our own black shining prince, who didn't hesitate to die because he loved us so. Thank you, and once again, my name is Darren Burton II, and I have just recited to you Malcolm X's eulogy. Thank you.